Allow me to introduce myself.
I am the last sane sports fan.
I am a genius by trade.
I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of The View from the Midwest. Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about college basketball because the Final Four is coming up. We got a great Final Four. It's going to be really interesting matchups. It's going to be Kentucky against Wisconsin, and then Duke versus Michigan State. And the topic that I wanted to kind of talk about today is college coaches, because we've got some really great college coaches left in the Final Four. You've got Tom Izzo with Michigan State. You've got Coach Krzyzewski with Duke. You got Coach Ryan with Wisconsin, and John Calipari with Kentucky. And the thing that I wanted to kind of discuss and get your opinion on, because we want to get everybody kind of involved in this little show that we've got going on here. What kind of coach would you want for your particular program? And you're not going to necessarily have to be limited to the four coaches that are left in the Final Four, because we're not even going to necessarily have strict names to where you want it associated with whatever college program that you choose to root for, but more styles of coaching and overall thought processes and kind of the outside view of each individual style. Because right now, in terms of the four that are left, you've got Coach Ryan at Wisconsin, who's got a whole bunch of seniors. He's kind of built that program up with Leslie touted players, a lot of kids that are more of a European style, where you have the big tall players, but they're going to be able to shoot from outside. You've got Kentucky. They've got pretty much nothing but blue chip players, McDonald's All-Americans, year-round. They've got pretty much two full rosters full of players on their team, all of which could be NBA caliber. You've got Michigan State, where they've got kind of that mix. They've got that real hard-nosed, tough team. And then you've got Duke, where they have a couple blue-chip players, but they've also got that sprinkling in of players that are going to stay there 2, 3, 4 years as well. But they're always up there as well. So the thing that I want to ask you is, what kind of coaching style would you prefer at your program? Because it's a situation that I'm always confused about, even within my own school. I'm a huge University of Kansas fan because I'm an alumni. That's where I went to school, so therefore why wouldn't I be? But as much as I love Coach Bill Self, and I wouldn't really trade him for anybody, I'm not even going to throw any names out there in terms of people who could be perceived as better. But I love Coach Bill Self, but as good as he has been for the University of Kansas, bringing them their first national championship in 20 years, and now it's been a few years since then, but he's been exceptionally good for the program. He's won 11 straight Big 12 championships, but he struggles a little bit in the tournament. You're just as likely to go to a Final Four as you are to go out in the first round with Coach Bill Self and the teams that he's put on the floor. Not necessarily his fault. I don't think his style necessarily melds well with the one-and-done kind of program. So he's trying to kind of feel his way out through that. Or you have Coach Tom Izzo. Those are the kind of juxtapositions you've got there. Whereas he has a few one-and-dones, but few and far between. And most of the time, Michigan State will struggle a little bit in the regular season, but ultimately they get to a Final Four. Now, obviously, he's had a bunch of times when he's gone out in the first round or around the 32 as well, but he's also made 7 Final Fours in his time at Michigan State, which is an astounding number, and he has been dubbed Mr. March, because he just always seems to find a way to get his team rolling, whether it's the Big Ten tournament, whether it's the national tournament. He finds a way to get it done. Or you got Coach Krzyzewski, who is somebody who just always finds a way to get Duke there, whether it's with the one and dones, whether it's with somebody like Christian Laettner, who stayed all 4 years, whether it's with white kids, black kids, taking race completely out of it. It doesn't matter. Duke seems to always find a way to get to the Elite Eight or further, and they always find a way to contend in the always tough ACC as well. Or you've got a coach like Coach Calipari, where basically you're going to be having a new roster every single year because he's always getting those top-notch one-and-dones that want to just come to college, get that year over with, play for a coach who knows what it takes to get to the NBA, and then move on right after that. So I'd ask you, what kind of coach would you like to have for your program? Would you want to have a coach like Coach Self, who's always going to give you, he's going to defend your home court. He's got a great record at Allen Fieldhouse, and he's going to win conference championships, but maybe you struggle once you reach the national tournament. He did win a national championship, but he's gone out in the first round a few times as well. Would you want a coach like Coach Izzo, who maybe you're going to have a few bumps in the road in the regular season? You're not necessarily always going to be in contention for conference championships, but that tough, hard-nosed style of play is going to get you ready for the kind of basketball that you need to play in March. Or would you want a coach like Coach Cal, where you're always going to be in contention for national championships, but you never quite know what you're going to get because you're always relying on freshmen? So I leave the choice up to you. That'll wrap it up for this edition of The View from the Midwest. Comment, rate, and subscribe down there. Let's really get this rolling here, and I will see you next time.